Blog Talk Radio. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. This is your Omega 7 Live coming at you. And our phone lines to call in on is, you'll be calling in on 516-453-9208. You could call in at that number, and I will definitely accommodate you. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. And we are going live here on Blog Talk Radio Station. And for those particular people that are trying to get the phone line number, that number is 516-453-9208. That number you should have had locked in your dial. You don't want to wait till the last minute and start dialing my personal number because I won't be able to pick up. Now, if you are scheduled to be a guest on this show, this is your final time to appear. I hope you can get the digits. Once again, the call-in number is 516-453-9208. And I am going to be inviting Winston Prince on again, as well as Dickerson. And our other gentleman, LaFrance, from France, I don't know if you're out there or not, but our phone line numbers is 516-453-9208. Now, Princeton, I have talked to you earlier today, and I asked everyone, do not call my personal phone line because I won't be able to pick it up. Now, I don't think that's too hard to do. Once again, this is your Omega on our final day of Black History Month. We're going to be doing it up live today, talking about a number of different things on this day in history. We're going to be talking about some of our outstanding ancestors, and we're also going to be featuring a spotlight on those artists who would like to be known and would like to get some attention here on this platform. And we've been trying to help local from Jamaica. Someone say that with me, Jamaica. And we want you to know that we do respect all of our people from abroad, and we do cater to them and invite them to be a part of our entertainment. And once again, we're going live here on Blog Talk. And to those friends out there who seem to be locked out, let me see. We have people that don't know how to follow instructions. And if you give them a number, they want to call you on another number. And why would they do that? Why? Because they won't be able to get in. And they'll sit there and say, well, I tried to call you on that number. We want to make sure people understand that there's two phone lines, and they can't call me on my personal line because I can't pick up. I am in the studio and waiting for some people to get themselves together. Now, let's see here. Hold on tight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be getting some of these people instructions about what to do in order to call in. I can't see why they can't Hello, Mr. And once again, I'd like to say this is a special evening for Black History Month. Those of you who have not tonight is the night. Tonight's tonight. Tonight's tonight. We're gonna do it up right. Tonight's tonight. Tonight's tonight. We're gonna do it up right. It's Black History Month. Oh yeah, and you know what we do. We talk about our ancestors on Black History Month and a little known history facts that you might not know about. And don't be surprised if they should pop up, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is the night. Now, I'm going to get out of this session because people keep calling me and they know that I cannot get to the phone line. And I've already given them the FYON. And why is it so dark here in my studio? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'd like to welcome Facebook friends here. We'd like to say, come on in, Facebook friends, and sit down and be a part of the solution today. Because we are, if they can get the FYON, that number, once again, is 516-453-9208. And Winston, I know you're in the audience because I just messaged you. I don't care how shy you are. You can't be a singer if you're shy. You won't be able to get on the stage if you're shy. Now, if you don't want your artistic background talked about, then get out the way and let the gentleman do his thing. And let the gentleman do. Get on out the way and let the gentleman do his thing. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, let me get up on the I'm giving too many instructions to people that should know what to do. And they act like they have lost their ever-loving mind, calling me continuously while I'm on the air. You know I'm not going to pick up. I gave you the digits, 516-453-9208. Now lock those digits in. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to commercial to get a cue from here. We're going to find out what's going on. On the air, and this is Black History Month, and we want to do it up right. We want to make sure we give homage to history lessons in school. I used to be a history teacher, and we're going to talk a little bit about history that has been left out. We know we weren't really properly educated with the history. We know that, you know what, Winston, I can't bring anybody in on the camera. You have to get off this line, go and call the number that I gave you, and come in to the Blog Talk station. Otherwise, I will take you off the list for being a guest. You have about 10 minutes to do that. Now, let me go on. I don't have all the instructions earlier today, and my time is very precious. And if I give you time to be on the platform, you better be ready. Because if you're not, then you don't want to be heard, you don't want to be seen, or you don't want to be heard. It is because broadcasters for some people and Oracle Divination Network for others. Once again, I'd like to thank you for joining me on this Black History final day of the month. For those of you who are seeking a little known history facts today, this is the place to be. We want you to be a part of our celebration. And it is a celebration, you know. We're talking about history lessons in school. As you know, a lot of history has been left out, and a lot of people do not know anything about their real history. Now, I want to talk to some of the people about what is the difference for other indigenous people that are outside of Turtle Island, outside of North Carolina, outside of North America. What is the difference in a Jamaican and an African American? Are there similar background history? Do they have the same history? Is it different? If anybody knows that answer, please raise your hand and we'll bring you up on the screen so you can elaborate on it. A blog talk. We've given you the number and we've actually told you all you need to do is dial that number. Now, if you have a problem dialing it, why don't you put your number up on the screen and give it to me and I can call you. Now, there's no shame in your game. If you need me to call you, I will. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Black History Month. Let's talk a little bit about some of our Black artists. We know that Billie Holiday was an outstanding singer, but she had her share of problems just like everybody else did. And now they're creating a screen picture movie of Billie Holiday. And as you know, her life wasn't glamorous. It was riddled with pain as she tried to rid herself of being addicted to drugs and alcohol. But nevertheless, she still was a singer, an outstanding one, if I should say so. Ladies sing the blues. She's got it there. She's want the world to know just what the blues is all about. The blues ain't nothing but a pain in your heart when you've got a bad start and you and your man has to part. Ladies sing the blues. She's got it bad. She feels so sad. Wants the world to know just what the blues is about. Yes, Billie wanted the world to know what the blues was all about and how she was catching hell. She was catching hell from all of the entertainers telling Billie to get clean, from Carnegie Hall telling her, Billie, you can't sing on this platform until you go back and get your license and get yourself clean, girl. Billie went through some terrible times, and as you know, she was put in an institution trying to rid her of being addicted. Back in those days, you could be incarcerated for being a drug addict. And she was incarcerated in an institution called the mental hospital, or for those who are on drugs. And she went through some terrible times of white supremacists as they hurled out to hurt her, to abuse her, to stop her from singing, because they know she was singing the truth about what was going on in the hood. People didn't like it. No, they didn't like it. They didn't like it one bit. Billie lost a lot of her confidence at one time. Her man leaving her. Someday you'll come along, the man that I love, and he'll be big and strong, the man that I love. And then he'll look at me and say, I'll do my best to make him stay. Maybe he'll come one day, maybe today. Then I know he'll come one day, maybe Monday, and maybe not. And then in a little while, we'll build a nest for two. Tell me who would ever run? Oh, tell me what to do. Until then, I'll be dreaming of the man that I love. Oh, oh. She sang songs about her man that she loved. She sang heartwarming love songs that would put men to shame. Billie was suffering quite a bit in her relationships, but she never stopped singing. She went on to take stronger and stronger drugs, and some of her best so-called friends got her hooked on those strong sedatives. Billie was one of our featured outstanding ladies who could get on the stage, and she could improvise on any song. Her voice was like a well-tuned instrument. Billie Holiday is one of our featured today. We pay homage to our ancestors and wish her well and hope that she continues to press her. And as we begin to think about some of that is the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. You told me that you were in here, oh, until, and now you're gone, and those hours seem just like you. You left me singing a song. You're leaving, oh, it makes my heart go slower and slower. Now you're gone, and hours seem just like years. You left me singing a song. Don't go away from me. Why don't you please, please come on back home, and we're together for eternity. But you told me that you were leaving me here until now you're gone, and hours seem just like you. You singing a song. Yes, Aretha Franklin left us singing a song, and baby, you better know it. She wants some respect. You better put some respect on it for Aretha, because Aretha was not playing with us when she was singing. She was serious about all her songs. From gospel, she toured with her father and his gospel group, all the way to her blues and jazz on the stage. She said God gave us all of it. It didn't matter when she sang it, even if she sang the blues. She never once differentiated between the blues and the one and the same for Aretha. And ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand that. A gift to use her vocal cords to lift the people up. And boy, didn't she lift the people up. She sang many songs during our time of struggle. She was in the struggle when they called Aretha forth, singing her songs, her blues, her jazz, her gospel. And she sang to uplift those people who were downhearted, those who had lost their way. She lifted them with her music. Ladies and gentlemen, don't ever forget about the Lady of Soul, the Queen of Soul. Can't nobody touch her, neither here nor there. Right in the heart of when she was just blossoming, all of the young people wanted to be able to sing like Aretha Franklin, and they were trying to hit her note, but couldn't. Our own Detroit Aretha Franklin sang her music until her death. We want to call that ancestor for her because she's still here with us, still singing her blues and with us. And we don't know a time when she wasn't darting the stage to bring us good music. Good music. Aretha Franklin was one of the best, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for those of you who are trying because to lift your vocal cords and sing. Because Aretha Franklin was up in age and she was still glorifying the Lord with her music. And her vocal cords were recognized throughout the nation, all over the world. And don't you forget it. Let me see who's here today. Now, Prince, I still see that you, okay, you're giving me your number here. Let me see if I can do anything with your number. Let me see. I'm going to try, see if I could do something with that number. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hold tight, please. I'm going to try that number again. How's everybody feeling this evening on Black History Night? You should have your children in front of anybody's screen that is talking about the real history lessons, because we've been fed a lie, ladies and gentlemen, about our history. And we don't have to be out of touch with history. Okay, why is this in your call fail? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hold tight. We're trying to see if his number is a good number. 48555977. You don't want to place you in the screening room. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, I want to know why you're not able to dial in. Can you tell me, Prince, Mr. Winston Prince, can you tell me why you're not able to dial in? Congo, how are you? Mr. Prince, this is my, okay, can you tell me why you're not able to dial in? Congo, you can dial in at 516-453-9208. You can dial in at that number, and you can get in to talk to me live. That number is 516-453-9208. And if anyone would like to call in, they can. Now, once again, Mr. Prince is one of our featured guests. He wants to talk about his background as an artist, and we're inviting him to the stage. However, he can't dial out for some reason. Mr. Prince, that number, you put my number up there, my personal number, and nobody needs to call me on that. If they wanted to call me, put the number up, 516-453-9208. And you can call me in on that number. Now, Blog Talk is not responsible for handling the phone call for you. However, we do offer an option where we could call out to you. But for some reason, Mr. Prince, your phone is not allowing us to call out. And your number, we're dialing 1-876-485-5977. It is not working. Now, for Congo, you could call at 516-453-9208. Go ahead and dial those numbers, please, because you can't be brought up on the camera. So just go ahead and dial those numbers, and then we can hear you as well as talk with you. Okay, Mr. Prince, can you try? Do you have any minutes on your phone where you can call in at? If you have minutes on your phone, which you said you were going to get, then if you're going to be on this show, you have to be able to call in. Now, Mr. Congo David, I see you watching. The screen is not set here our in our Facebook to bring you on, so you have to call in on our phone line, and that's 1-908. Okay, what's happening, Mr. Prince? What's going on? You have no credits. Now, why would you come on the show knowing you're going to be featured as a guest and you don't get any credits on your phone line? Why would you do that? Anybody that's silly enough to believe that they can penetrate these phones on their phone is silly. And I talked to you about this earlier. You said, I'm going to have it all together. I took up the phone call last time and I called you. But apparently it won't let me do it again this time. All right. Well, I tell you this is the last time that I can have you featured on the show and then you don't show up prepared. I hate to say that, but it really is. Yeah, you had no credits, but you knew you needed to have credits because you told me I'm going to get credits and be all ready next time. Because I have picked up the phone call and called you last time, remember? And sometimes Blog Talk will let you do it and sometimes it won't. Let's see here. I see Mr. Congo. Mr. Congo, if you can hear me, I'm telling you that the screen will not allow you in Facebook to go on subject to talk. But here in my Blog Talk radio station, I'm giving you the numbers to call in. Can you take these numbers down, Mr. Congo? 516-453-9208. Now, let me get on with my program because I just don't have time for this. I really don't. Now, I'm writing this all over again after you are on the screen. I'm trying to bring you on, but you're not taking the numbers down. Okay, I'll try that number. Let's see if that'll work. Let's try that. Hold tight, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try another number for him. Mr. Winston. Okay, let's see what that number is. 187 187 64 6409 6606. Something must be wrong with your area code because you got a completely different area code now. Are you sure that area code is right, Mr. President? You have 1876. You have 1876. And last time you had a different area code. Okay. Mr. President, is there anyone that you can use this phone just to make this phone call? Is there anyone there in your hood or your neighborhood that could give you a chance to use their phone? It's very important because I've been telling a few people about you and your music. However, you cannot be shy. You have got to display yourself on the platform to talk about what it is you do. But I can't do it for you unless you come on so I can interview and ask you the questions, okay? What is happening to Mr. Congo? Mr. Congo, are you still with us? Okay. Mr. Congo, we're going to go on with our show. If you guys do want to speak, you're going to follow instructions. Right now, we're talking about our age-old performers and what they went through for many, many years, and went over to Europe, and I performed there. I didn't have the disruptive time that a lot of people had with their profession. I was fortunate. I walked right into fame. Had been singing all my life as a gospel singer. Started at the age of 14 with my other 10 sisters. We toured all over Gary, Indiana, singing for churches. And we also traveled with the orchestra. I went to Europe under the auspices of working as a school teacher and an adjunct instructor. And as I was going to sign up to teach a class as an adjunct, from Indianapolis, Indiana, he heard me speak and asked me if I could sing. And I replied, yes. He said, how would you like to audition for a spot in our choir? I thought he was kidding. He said, come downstairs and go in the foyer. We're going to be receiving individual who would like to audition. So I said, yes, I will come. He said, you won't regret it. It's an opportunity for you to tour all over Europe. He chose me because I was from Indiana, his home girl from home, Indiana. I went down in the foyer. He called my name. He said, Sherelle Garth, are you in the audience? And I came up. And he said, what number will you be doing for us? And I said, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. And I began to sing, Swing low, sweet chariot, coming forth to carry you home. Sweet chariot, coming forth to carry me home. When I look over into Jordan, and what did I see? Lord, it was a band of angels coming up to carry me home. Why don't you swing low, chariot, stop and let me ride? Swing low, chariot, stop and let me ride. I've got home, I've got home, I've got home over on the other side. And after I sang that song, he called me to the back room and he said, you got a lifetime contract. That song was my blessing, my gift to give away and to get a job making 800 marks a week. And that in American dollars could be somewhere to the tune of maybe $600, which was very good for a part-time job, especially one that you've always aspired to do all your life. So I traveled with the Jackson Singers, a chance to even carry my husband and my children along with me. What a treat. We went to Berlin. And when we went to Berlin, they asked us to do a dedication to Princess Diana and to back up Joan Faulkner and one other group. We went on stage and toured all over Berlin in honor of Princess Diana's death. You can go and look up that video online, and we sang with Sasha as well. Now I don't know who this is that's calling me, but I'll make a call. Let's see. Hello, this is Blog Talk Radio Station. Can I help you? Hello, this is Blog Talk Radio Show. Can I help you? Why are you recording the audio? I have no idea. Up app, I'm denying you. All right. Now, I'm going to say this once again. You never know where your blessings are. Sometimes you have to travel abroad to get your blessings. Hello. Will you on the other Blog Talk line? I cannot talk to you now. I'm on the radio show. Okay. Hello. 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 I'm going to hang up if somebody don't speak up. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Who is this? Oh, okay. Now, you got to call into the radio station, not to this station. I'm on the air. That number I gave you, remember I gave you the number? You said that is 916-453-9208. Do you have that number? Did you have that number? Okay, listen to me. I need you to clearly understand that I can't interrupt the radio show. Do you have that? Do you want me to give it to you again so you can write it down? Okay, you want to write it down? Would you like to write it down? 516-453-9208. Okay, do you have the number? Okay, Prince, do you have the number? All right, I'm going to have to go back on the line now. Hello? Oh, yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we want to make sure that everyone knows that. Let's see here. We're back on the live show again, ladies and gentlemen, and we want you to definitely make sure you do tune in. This is our last Black History show, and we're trying to get everybody in on this topic. We wanted to give people a chance to dance and sing and shout. We wanted to give people a chance to explore their gifts of singing. And as you know me, I will do a cappella at any given time. That's how I was discovered, through singing a cappella without any instrumental music. And I'll always be an a cappella singer, no matter where I go. With my vocal cords, I'll use them to bless and to pull down and to root up and to cast out. So if you're a singer and you'd like to be heard here on this Blog Talk radio station, that's what we open up for Mr. Prince to come in and talk about his music and to give him a spotlight. Now, we had Mr. Dickerson come on and one other gentleman a year ago, and they performed and talked about their music. We displayed their videotapes throughout my streaming Facebook, and they got to be seen as well as heard. Now, there's quite a few people that are saying, well, I want to sing, but I don't want to touch too much. Well, I can't sing for you. Let's see who this is joining us. I think this is our guest here. Hold tight. Hello.
Hello, Cheryl.
Is this Mr.
Hello, Cheryl.
Winston Prince?
This is Miss. Yes, ma'am.
I talked about you so bad, didn't I? I talked about you so bad that you showed up. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm good. Giving thanks. Just sorry for the inconvenience.
I understand. Things can be so hard that seem to be simple. They become difficult for us black people. I do understand. And I apologize for talking about you so bad. I really do.
I have to go up the road to buy some credit and put on.
Oh, you went and bought your credit. Okay, I made you get on your P's and your Q's. Ain't that something? I tell you, I'm something else. I can make a horse go to water and drink. I'm telling you. How you doing this evening? And we want to talk about you, Winston, because I thought you were so brave last week to come on our show and to send me a video clip of you performing. I was so proud of this 60-some-year-old man still performing. And you know something, Winston? I'm 68 years old, and I'm still singing. You hear me? And ain't nothing going to keep me from it. And I want to encourage you to keep on with the keep on, brother, and keep on. Today we're going to spotlight you because it's Black History Month, and I want to give all of my black brothers and sisters a chance to spotlight themselves. And if not on this show, then which show? We've been around for 11 years. We've been helping people out to develop platforms, giving our platform to you in honor of what you do. Now, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got started as an artist. I don't want to sit here and talk about myself all the time, but I did that just to fill in some space. So now that you're here, we're anxious to hear about how you got started in the music industry and where you have performed. And tell us a little bit about your family, where you're from, what do you like to do? You have the atmosphere. We're going to take your world and give you your world back after you finish talking. Go ahead.
I just like to sing. I don't even know where I started. Maybe from I was born.
Come on now, Mr. Prince.
I just find songs coming to me and I just sing them.
So you started singing ever since you were born, or could it be a little bit later?
Yeah, it could be a little bit later, but I think it was from I born. I think it was from I was born.
Okay. What kind of music were you singing, Mr. Prince?
I was crying first.
Okay, crying. That's singing too. Okay, all right. What kind of music?
Yes, I cried first.
Show me the kind of music you like to do.
I like to do farming. I like to do carvings, and I like to sing.
No. What kind of music? Jazz, blues, gospel? What is your forte?
Well, my songs are just reality, things that going on around. Like the COVID-19, we sing songs of the COVID-19. We sing songs of all these realities around us.
You know
Sometimes
what?
reggae, sometimes
I'm glad
soul.
you said that you do songs that are realistic. I'm going to have you do a covert virus song before you leave this airway. I think it's a good thing that we sing about our conditions.
Okay. I can do it live for you.
Where you reside at currently right now, Mr. Press? Where do you live?
I'm living in St. Mary, Jamaica.
Okay. And do you have family, other people that sing with you?
Well, only my friends. They sing by themselves. They sing their own songs, but we are friends.
Okay. Do you have family?
They sing their own song. I sing my songs.
Okay, so you're not
We don't have a group. We don't have a group yet. I'm just a solo artist.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever performed for your town or outside of your town at municipal places? Have you ever performed?
Yes, when I was younger, we used to sing on sound systems right around the country. Sound systems.
Mm-hmm.
So my stage name when I was following the sound system, my stage name was Super Major.
Oh, what does that mean?
Super Major means
what does that mean?
The supreme major majority.
MAAJAH.
MAAJAH. Major.
Okay. Now, what is the music industry like? Is it hard to enter into the profession, or is it quite easy?
Well, it's kind of difficult to get in, to get the exposure, but it's easy to find a song to sing, but it's hard to get the exposure. I had no producer, I have no manager. I just sit inside and sing and record myself on my own laptop. And post them on Facebook.
Okay. What about streaming? Are you doing digital streaming with your music?
Only on Facebook.
Right, but do you know that there's a whole business in the streaming industry where you literally can get paid for your streaming on Amazon, on a number of the platforms where streaming is fairly new in some areas, and you can get paid for people that download your music.
Yes, I understand that.
Yes, and there's a lot of people that are traveling, and they have a great expense when they have to travel, their entourage, the whole bit, and then they make a little bit of money because they're spending so much money from traveling. But you can stream right from your bedroom, from your studio, and make very good funds while you're streaming.
Yes, that is what I'm trying to do, but, it takes time.
Yes, I do know that. I'm still getting my streaming together. I am also an international poet, so I have my poetry out there, and it is streamed on podcast. And I actually am giving it away free right now, my 36 poems from a book called The Journey of the Class Agent, according to Garth. And that is being streamed, and people are downloading right now. But we're going to be coming out with a book as well as the audio tape where it will have some instrumental music behind it. And one of the poems right now we placed instrumental music behind, and it goes like this. I'll be brief, I'll be short, I won't hold you up like some jury court. I'll get straight to the point, and in no time I'll have you up out of this joint. I'll hurry, so you don't even already fixing to get ready to go. So before anyone hits the door, just remember I still have the floor. I'm a poet, for those of you who didn't know it, and it's been my real intention to show it. So before anyone leaves, I hope I haven't committed a cardinal sin by taking up too much of your time. my friend. And that's one of the ones we put music behind. Ask you to do one of your favorite songs, if you can do it a cappella for me.
Ready for it?
We're
Ready for it now?
Yes, we're ready for it now.
Okay. Listen this one. To this COVID-19, lockdown and quarantine.
Sing a little louder. Sing a little louder. Sing out now.
Okay.
Sing a little louder.
To this
Come on.
COVID-19, lockdown and quarantine. You need to build the immune system. You need a diet of fine and protein. Kalalo pumpkin and bean. Kalalo pumpkin and bean. Say kalalo pumpkin and bean. Yo, see them a come there with the COVID-19. Big dirty virus, they ma care upon the scene. Big nasty virus, if it breed bad disease. And a them the kind of disease they will make you disease. And so you have to build the immune system. So you need a diet of fine and protein. Kalalo pumpkin and bean.
All right now. I like that one there. Mr. Prince, you were on one then. I'm telling you, you're on the money. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. Prince, Winston Prince in the house here live, doing it up kind of proper like. We're giving him his just due. He's been waiting for his moment in time. He had to wait till he got over 60 to get on this game called music industry. I like that one. Do you have another one for us, Mr. Prince?
You want to hear another one?
Yes.
This one is for the crime in Jamaica, or the crime around. Say don't a road they no good again.
No
say don't a road they no.
A little louder so we can hear it over here in Indiana.
Okay.
Come on.
Say don't a road they no good again. Say don't a road they no good again. Out a road they no nice again. Say out a road they no safe again. Vampires roam the streets. Say predators on the beat. See them a come there with them iron teeth. See them a come there with them iron teeth. Suck out your blood and then we yum you like meat. So I have to run away. I said I have to run to live another day. 'Cause out the road they no good again. Said out the road they no good again. Now out the road they no nice again. Said out the road they no safe again. Vampires roam the streets. Say predators on the beat. Out the road they no good again. Can't stand up on the corner one reason with your friend. Can't sit down on the corner play domino again. Me no one little brethren with me call Mark Ken. Big elderly about 67. Who walk down the road and we go checking brethren. They stand up a roadside and a reason with them. Boom, drive by again. Them kill the two of them. Masking and him brethren. Then go up the road, go shoot up the domino game. Lord, what a shame. Out the road, they no good again. Yes, sir.
All right now. Ooh, boy, I was swinging off of that one. That's a cut right there. I'm telling you, you ahead of your time, Mr. Press. You're ahead of your time. I gotta give you something for that one. I was dancing through the whole song.
My friends call me a song tree. I can't run out of songs. I bear songs.
The song tree. All right
like
now.
a tree.
The song tree is in the
Yeah,
house.
song tree. I bear song like a tree.
Now, Mr. Prince, do you write these songs yourself?
I don't write songs. I just have them in my head.
Okay, but this is your rendition. You own the rights to these lyrics, right?
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Original.
Oh, okay. Then you should be a poet. See, I call myself writing songs, and I ended up becoming a poet. I was trying to write a song, like a long epic. I was a storyteller. I'm a storyteller, and sometimes you have to be a storyteller. Are you a storyteller also?
Yes, I think so. I think so.
Are you a storyteller also? Oh, you are?
I think so.
Okay. What's the climate like in Jamaica for a black man or woman? What's the struggle like there right now?
Well, this struggle. So too much political, too much crime.
Too much.
That's
something?
That's the struggle, and it need more employment.
Okay. That crime is everywhere. It's a cry for help.
Yeah.
When you keep a black man down so long that they cannot breathe or cannot see their own way, they will come up and come out fighting like a badger, and that's what thing happens. You cannot have somebody on top taking and stealing all of our resources, all of our opportunities. You cannot have someone ruling for so long. How you doing, Hezekiah? Who is this? What is it? Hi, Tawazin. Zabak. Oh, this is Zabak. How you doing, Zabak? I'm trying to read you. I always just call you Zabak. That other name is just too hard for me. How you doing, Dwight? Thank you so much for joining us, along with Mr. Timothy Warren, the man of the hour. Cheryl Moore, thank you so much for joining us. And Kia, who is it? Ken Bailey. Who else is here? Barry Dobbs. How you doing, Mr. Barry Dobbs, the sharpest man in show business? And Kim Bailey again. Okay, once again, we'd like to welcome our Facebook page. I want you to be a follower. And those of you who are on Blog Talk radio station, you know how I do it here. I want you to be a follower because I have had over 113 followers for over 11 years. They've faithfully been following me. I'd like to give a shout out to all of those faithful followers on my Blog Talk, Oracle Divination Network, the Melanite site that you come to get your awareness. And here you're going to get your history lesson. Now, I've been talking a little bit about my background as an international black gospel singer, soulful gospel singer. My 10 sisters and I, we were known all over Gary, Indiana for singing for Mother Mitchell. We toured with the orchestra. I played the clarinet. My sister played the violin. And right now we're not playing any of those instruments. But I'm getting my music studio back together again, ladies and gentlemen. I like to go on the road. And I have good news for you today. I've been talking to you about a book, about a manuscript that I have researched for the past, 15, 20 years. It is now going to production today, and I am glad and happy about it. I pray that the production industry will come back accepting everything in the document and that it is printed and duplicated for sale. It is my whole research on the effects that African American male couple with their culture, and my philosophy on the standpoint that women are the 80% workers who have been putting black boys in special ed since Hector was a pup, and who are falsely misdiagnosing them when they should be placed in English as a second language, instead of placing them into a category where they acquire a label. So I will be discussing next month. I'm going to take some time off from our topic to be debating my book, to talk about the chapters in the book and to talk about the foundation of the workbook that goes with it, and to also let Black teachers know that we've got to remove ourselves as female teachers by the time a Black boy gets to fourth grade and relinquish that young boy into the hands of a male teacher, preferably Black, but if not, any male teacher. So I will be debating that and talking about that. So this is somewhat of a celebration. I just got the word today that the book was sent to the department to evaluate. So I'm pretty excited. It's a long-awaited book. I did some interviews and discussions about it last year, and most people wanted to know what came out of it. We have created a TV radio show that talks about setting up a parent resource center for those children that are in special ed who we claim are going to be coming out of special ed and properly.
Yeah, you with me now, Sheriff? Yeah, you with me now?
Yes, hold on for 1 minute. Will you tell us a little bit about your worship? Are you in the faith? Are you a spiritual person? And if so, share with us why we should worship with you, why we should follow your path and direction for spiritually connected with our higher selves. Who do you worship with when you worship? Do you go outside in the woods? Do you call on God in the universe? Tell us how you practice your worship and how you can share that with us, because you seem like a spiritual man.
That's me?
Yeah.
Okay, I know that there's a spirit in the universe. I don't know the name to say, but I know that there is someone who formed this universe that need to be respected. So I don't call no special name, but I know that there is a spirit in this universe that designed this universe.
Okay. You know there's a force. Does that force reside in you or in the atmosphere?
Yes.
Which one? Does it reside within you? Do you become the Godhead? Yes. Is that force out in the atmosphere as some tricky God that's up in the sky?
No, not really up in the sky. All around, inside of me, all around me, over me, below me, right around me. Natural mystic, you know.
You know, I'm glad you said that, Mr. Prince. I'm glad you said that because we've had it wrong for a long time. We've let somebody spook us out into believing that there's some spook out in the sky, and when in fact Jesus said that he would go, that the Comforter would come. Well, Jesus has already gone and left, and Elijah has come to the table several times. So Jesus and God and the Spirit is within us. We're the ones to carry out these things to do greater things. And we need to start believing that, because the God that we're looking for is right in the mirror when we look in the mirror. It's us. It's been us all the time. You know that?
Yeah.
It's been us.
Man, I know that. Yeah.
So our music must display the atmosphere of the Creator. We must exemplify the Creator in our music, so it must be wholesome and clean and good, because God will not reside in an unclean vessel. So let me ask you a question. Where do you go to worship at? Do you have an altar? What do you?
No, I don't go anywhere to worship. I know that you don't have to go anywhere to worship. As long as you do good, do the right things, don't do anything unclean, don't do wrongs, that's good enough.
Okay. Now, if we want to take it a step further, I'd say that we want to connect with our ancestors. They're the ones that have melanin-rich blood, and once they leave here, we want to tap into that blood and reconnect with them. So we have to summon them. We have to create an atmosphere. So we must have an altar with our ancestors' names They said that it is up to the living to stay in contact with the dead. So we have to call them. You know that Bookman Dadi, Toussaint Louverture, and Jean-Jacques Dessalines, they went to the graveyard to reconnect with their ancestors to gain the strength they need to fight the war. We're in the middle of a war. We definitely need to reconnect with our ancestors. So we must have an altar, because it said the names of our ancestors and the Orishas need to be called out on a daily basis so that they will be summoned to come and bring their spirit to our tables, to our circles. And once we know we can tap into our ancestors' spirit, we become our ancestors. We become one with our ancestors, and we're unified, and we have an army on our side. Do you believe that, Mr. Prince?
Well, I understand what you're saying, but my altar is in my farm. The beauty of nature around me, that's my altar.
Mm-hmm.
And the spirit of the ancestors, you can meditate it. Meditate the spirit of the ancestors. You know?
Okay.
You
now,
can
do you look
meditate
at
the spirit of the ancestors.
any of your traditional African concepts, such as voodoo, or also Ifa, Icon? As we look at their spirits, they have angelical forces such as Ishun, Yaminye, Obatala, Shango. These are some other celestial beings that are lower deities, that are expressions of God. Since God is an actual combustible fire, we cannot embrace God because he's full of fire. So he gives us these lower level deities that we can embrace, like the water, the ocean, like Shango, the lightning god, and like Yaminye, the water god, Oshun, the ocean god. These are all deities that we go to the water and pay homage to, and they give us blessings. They open the way for us. So we don't have to necessarily be a member of a particular religion. As a matter of fact, we want to put down religion because religion
is wrong.
We want to come away
religion is wrong.
and develop our own. So I'm glad you said you developed your own. Now, let me also ask you a question. We were going to bring this show about with another young man named LaFrance, and the topic was, I could be a better man, being a priestly man and a godly man. What is your priestly or godly man?
Well, someone that do well, do good, don't covet, don't bad mind anyone. You know, don't do wrongs to others, do unto others as you have them do to you. Those are my philosophy that I live by. I try not to do wrongs. If I do wrongs, it must be a mistake. That's how deep I really put it. But you must not deliberately get up to do wrongs. Try to do the right, what you conceive it that is right. You try to do that.
What is there to keep you? What is there to keep you from doing wrong? Is it that you fear going to hell, or do you feel that you be in forever bliss, or what would keep you from doing wrong?
Keep me from doing wrong is when I look at this beautiful universe. I know that I cannot make it. I could not make it. This universe. So there is someone in this universe that create this beauty around us and create me and create all the things around me. So you have to respect, try not to disrespect that spirit. try as best as you can to respect that spirit, even though you don't know the name and you don't know who, but there is someone. There's someone.
Think about it. What is the prize for doing good? Some children say, "Why do I need to do good? I'm not going to get anything from being good. What can you promise me? Isn't the promise?
Yeah, you gain something for doing good.
Isn't the promise to live eternally and to live of things, so that you get a chance to do it all over again, but you get a chance to do it in a new system that's perfect. So you get a chance so that you don't fall to a lower animal and have to come back here again. Just like Tina Marie said, if you die and you don't do wrong, you'll come back again. You'll come back again as a lower substance or animal. And here, if you do good and you're weighed as light as a feather, you will get a chance to come. You won't come back in this lower life. You go on to eternal bliss. And that's what we want to stay to the end to see what the end is going to be.
You see the spirit inside of you?
Yes.
The spirit inside of your body?
Yes.
Hearing me? Yeah, the spirit inside of your body cannot die. Only your flesh can die. So the spirit that inside of you live forever. You see your age or my age, but your spirit inside of you still feel young like a little child. Don't?
Mr. Prince, I believe that. I believe in reincarnation. I believe that the spirit will never die. That is a part of that he gave you.
Yeah.
He may pull any out of you, the air out of you, and your flesh will turn to dirt. But that spirit and that soul will go on living. It is energy. It cannot die. Energy cannot be recreated, nor can it be destroyed. It could only dissipate.
Yeah. So it take on to itself another flesh after your flesh died. It take on another flesh. That spirit take on another flesh.
Well, we need to talk more about reincarnation, and we also need to talk about how we deliver our loved ones back to be tried and tested and their hearts weighed to be found as light as a feather. We don't take it serious that we want to live again, and we don't take it serious that there is an end to this. It's not just you die and that's the end. There is an end to this. You never die. Not the spirit that is known within you, maybe the flesh, but not the spirit. So
the spirit can never die.
For their loved ones, they're saying they're dead. Everybody's going to die. Into a higher source is something we all want to do. We want to be reincarnated into something greater.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'm hearing you. You're gone? You still there? Get cut off. Cut off. Cheryl? Not hearing you at all. Hearing you at all. Babylon drop the call. Drop the call.
Okay, hold tight.
You hearing me now?
Yeah, I'm still here. They've done everything under the sun to destroy the image of the black man, and it's so sad because I'm saddened by what I see happen to the black man. I am very saddened by it, and I wish that there was something that people can see purposely happening to the black man. And I wish that something could be done where God can stop it immediately. And I don't know why God is persisting, which is us, why we're persisting to let this happen. And it's not any fictitious God up in the sky or Zumba God just letting it happen. We're the gods, and we've got to take control because our black men in the prison, they're destroying our black men when they get out of prison. It's a vicious circle. I did this show to show that there were some godly men out there. And I've met a lot of Jamaican men who are very godly by nature, by the fact that they worship Yah. I wish more of our African American men would realize that you do not have to be a member of a church to be spiritual. You do not have to pay dues. You are a carrying member of anybody's religion to be holy. The Bible says, be ye holy, for I am holy. And women are looking for holy men. They're looking for men that have given their lives to God and who stand and die for the cause of their higher self. And that's all that we want you to be, is spiritual, so that you can answer to some God and you can bow down to something greater than yourself. But there's so many, they have to have things and stuff. And our men have gone up as if it was God. And they're ending up in juvenile delinquent, in prison settings, and they can't get a court date. All of this nonsense, all because somebody was confused by material things and they were led by material things. So we're going to have to do a great job of re-educating ourselves about the difference between having a good life and having the. Yes, we want monetary gain. We want to be able to have access to as much money as we need. But do we know that money is getting ready to go off the market? Then what will we be struggling for? We won't know enough about Bitcoins and currencies and that nature to fight for those. Then what will we be killing for? All of this killing and murdering is over meatless stuff that's getting ready to go out of style. At the same time, we don't have peace in our homes. We don't know anything, and we're being displayed across the country as being the hoodlums of the world. And they're doing that by packing these prisons out with our black men and say, see, they're the criminals. They're the ones we want to get. That's who we turn the gun on. Exactly what's happening. And I'm so happy that most of my brothers are gone now because they would be fighting in a war. They would be standing up against this opposition. And I know that there's an attack on them. So what do you feel, Mr. President?
They shed the blood of the good man and called for Barabbas. So the society that we're living in now is a Barabbas society right around. So they shed the blood of the good man. They stoned Marcus Garvey. They shed the blood of the Christ. And every day them crying still for the blood of, because they say there's only the blood of Jesus can save them. But they don't need the blood of Jesus. They need the knowledge, the wisdom of Jesus. Only the wisdom of Jesus you have to save yourself. No blood. We're not shedding any more blood. So they're living in a Barabbas. It's the Barabbas society. That is why we have so much ill, so much wrong going on, so much people suffering, because it is a Barabbas society and not the Christ society.
And let me tell you, Christ is just a title, and you and I both can wear that title. It is a performance of how you conduct yourself. Don't get it twisted because they put a man up on a cross and said, there's your Savior. His blood was shed for us. No, it was not. If you know the real story, that Christ came down off the Christ. And even though that man to his right of him said, Lord, when you get into your kingdom, remember me. That never happened either. They information to make us think that someone died for the remission of our sins. He couldn't have died for the remission of our sins And that is not a story. And we must come to enlightenment about the real story and what really happened. We don't have time on these airways to discuss that. That table information about our Christian faith and our different denominations. What we have to do is be holy, be righteous, and be spiritual, just like you claimed earlier. And we don't have to be a member, a card-carrying member of any particular denomination, because these denominations have falsified things and they've destroyed us. But I would like to see a righteous man who has good mother with, whose mothers have brought them up right, who know the difference between right and wrong, and willing to die for it. But we have gotten caught up into material things, and we've stored our material things in places where moths can catch them and be destroyed, and yet we are dying for the lack of a better understanding, going into prisons knowing that if you take that cocaine and sell it, you're going to get so much time. We're not looking at the consequences of doing time because we think we can do the time. Most men can't do the time. And we must tell them that in your mind, you're already in captive and prison. Why go into a physical prison? And right now, we have a problem with our white supremacist society, want to lock up every black man, and if they can't, they want to shoot them. So we got to do something about this mess that we find ourselves in. What do you think?
We have to empower ourselves, educate ourselves, both practical and theoretical, academically, practically, and theoretically. The black man need to empower each other. The black man, we fuss against each other too much. We respect the white man more than how we respect each other. We respect the things that the white man have, so we downgrade the things that we have, and we don't put them to use. We don't put them in practice. We're always yearning for the things that the white man have, so the white man will always use us.
Mm-hmm.
Black people need to empower each other.
Right.
That is why the Cuban refugees in America is the most legal refugees out of all refugees, because Fidel Castro empowered its people, some of the best skilled people. So America don't want to let them go when them come in their country, because those people are skilled, well empowered. So the African need something like that too. We need to empower each other. We need to empower ourselves skillfully, that we have skills. See, the white man make ship, the white man make all kind of things, and the black man still row in canoe.
Well, we
need to learn how to make a ship.
We gotta stop talking about we need a savior, or we need a leader, and we have got to empower ourselves. Each one teach one, and we empower ourselves. That was we do not put up a leader for them to kill, because that's all they want to do is strike it down. And once they kill that leader, they said they dissolve that group.
The people that holding back Africa right now is the people that lead in Africa right now. Some of the black leaders too. Because some of the black leaders, they want to keep some of the people poor, that they can run to the white man for aid. So when the people suffer, they can get aid from the, what you call it, UNICEF and all those people, those aid company that grant them aid. So when they get the money, they use it by guns. Send barefooted soldier to war, hungry soldier to war. Those can't work. The greatest weapon on the battlefield. The greatest weapon on the battlefield is food. You have to can feed your army out in the field. If your army hungry, they will throw down their guns and surrender to the enemy.
That's right.
So the black
now,
people need food.
Say, yes, I want to also say that when you guys accepted our Jesus Christ, and we brought gospel music to Jamaica, I saw the love you guys developed for Jesus Christ, even though you used to worship Yah. And it was sort of a militant thing that you were not going to embrace our Jesus Christ, but you were going to embrace Yah. And Yah would be a universal person that wasn't connected to any particular denomination of faith. I respected that because you didn't believe the hype that the religion that the white man used to suppress us, that he gave it to us, and we started out poping the Pope and worshiping God, used to keep us suppressed and colonized. So I'm against Christianity because it was used to keep us suppressed and colonized. The Jesus that I once loved and embraced, I know he is Yeshua. He is not the Jesus Christ, but Yeshua. He is a different traditional black priest and not the one that was given to us by our colonizers. And we must remember that religion did help to colonize us. It put us into more different pegs and colonized us against our own brothers and sisters and divided us. But yet we would bring down for a chance to kiss the sweet face of Jesus Christ on the cross. And that's how they have gotten us. The Romans fooled us too. The Romans told the Christians, look, we're going to give you a better Christianity than what you had. They took their Christianity and at the council, they changed their Jesus to a Romanistic faith. So they don't even have Christianity anymore. They have a Romanistic faith that they're practicing. And that Romanistic faith that they're practicing has nothing to do with Jesus anymore. And they don't know worship Jesus and what we're going to do with Jesus. They eliminated Jesus and got rid of Jesus and created at the Nicene Council the Romanistic training that they gave back to the so-called Christians, because only 20% of Christians went willingly to become Christians. The rest had to be beaten into submission. People don't know the history of Christianity. They don't know that nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted it. They fought because they didn't want it, and they beat people to serve the Romanistic Christian faith. But it was no longer Christianity. It was Romanistic. And I don't think a lot of people know that.
All the religion is wrong. All the religion is wrong, whether it's black or it's white. All religion is wrong. Because they are serving man. They are serving man. Flesh come from women and men.
Absolutely.
They are serving flesh.
Absolutely.
And you should never serve the person who born in the same way that you born, or the same way that you created. Jesus created the same way. And all the people that they serve, people praying to, they create the same way from man and woman. But the creator of the universe, who created the universe, don't come from man and woman.
Well, we have to remember
who created the universe created by itself.
We have to remember that they took the Native Americans, the copper-toned Indians, and they separated their children and put them in a freedman school to brainwash them to teach them against their so that they would not believe in their traditions anymore. We have to be mindful of the traditions of our Father. We have to always honor them. And that's why I often say, set up you an altar to honor your ancestors. Pour libations to call the four cardinal directions together. Remember their names so that they go on down in history. So as we do that, we are worshiping. We're developing our own worship period within our homes, and there's no need for a building. We are the living epistles. We're the temple. Our church resides within each and every one of us, and we can manifest whatever it is we need, whether it be elevating ourselves or whatever, because we've been given the gifts and we have been given the magic to use the magic because we are against Voodoo. The very name Voodoo frightens us. We are against it. We refuse to use our magic. We don't know the benefits of our magic. But I want you to understand there are some benefits and tapping into your traditional faith and belief. There's some benefits where you can learn to levitate, you can learn to penetrate, and you can learn to be able to clairvoyantly hear what is being said in other places and clairvoyantly see into the lives of others. These are the gifts that come without repentance that we must exercise and tap into because they're being given to us from our ancestors. But if we want to lay dormant like we have no tools for fighting with, we are looking at their guns. Their guns are no good to us. They are cardinal weapons, and our guns are not. Our weapons are not carnal. So we're putting down a stronghold, but we have mighty that we must tap into. What do you feel about that?
Well, you know, if we keep on blaming the white man, we're gonna hate him, and we don't want to carry hatred. So we don't want to blame the white man. We want to catch up on ourselves and change ourselves.
Well, we're not talking about hating the white man here, because you must understand that we have enmity with the flesh. We are fighting ourselves, and the spirit has enmity with the flesh. It has nothing to do with the white man. The white man can be overcome tomorrow. It is us and our very flesh that we are fighting against. Once we get the flesh under control, we don't have to worry about the white man. But see, when we're in balance and in control of what we're supposed to be doing, the white man is no. So this is not about who's black, who's white. No, because I know we can overcome them. We're the only people that's holding ourselves back because we have not acknowledged who we are and our potential. So I'm not against the white man. I'm not telling you to ever be against the white man and that your white man is your enemy. No, that institution that was set up evil. Okay, the white man is getting whipped too, just like us. He don't know it. His time is going to come. So we're not trying to see who. We're talking about doing justice to ourselves so we can be in right standing. When you're in right standing, you can ask for anything, and it will appear to you. Subconscious, unknown, just by your mere thoughts, because you have maintained and steadfast in a state that God is pleased with. He said, if you abide in me and your words abide in me, you can ask what you will. The white man ain't got nothing to do with it. The only thing that's keeping is you, because you've got to stand there and beat the flesh down and bring it under subjection. It has nothing to do with the white man. I would never tell anybody go against the white man because he's doing it. He's not God. He just has control over these things in this air. He is running the atmosphere. But your turn will come, and it will come when you will be ruling. How will you rule with what kind of strong arm?
Well, right now, we'll have to serve the Almighty the right way. The Almighty build the universe. He build the white man, he build the China man, he build different, just like the birds and the animals, different species. But all of us is still human beings. Different species animal, but all of them is animal. So we have to understand that, and all of us have a place in this universe, because the universe is for all of us.
Well, we must understand that the white man has a place, maybe in shape, so we can get in shape and know who we are. Maybe God allowed him for a little time to be on this earth to do what he's doing because we were stiff-necked people and we weren't doing what he said either. So we had to be taken out of control and put down on our knees until we could honor God in the way he should be honored also. We were mismanagement of God's tools, and he had to place somebody else in operation, he, she, or it. We don't know what the gender be. It could be or a thing. So nobody knows God. Nobody has lived and seen God. God is a frequency. He is energy, ratified energy. All we know is he's just like a ratified fire going across the earth. So in essence, we this he, she, or
just
it,
like the wind. You can't see the wind, but you know it is there. You feel it.
What did you say?
Just like the wind. You know you cannot see the wind, but you feel it.
Right. It leaves a reflex. And the energy that God is, he had to clothe himself in matter, place himself in us as Ori, so we can embrace him. That is the only way we can embrace God, is that matter that he clothed himself into and placed in our being, so we have access to the God at all times. That way he could never leave us. But as far as this ratified God in the atmosphere, we can't touch him. He will burn us up. He will send us into years. And therefore, we have to understand we must act as the gods because he's placed himself in us.
And it's both man and woman. It's not just he and him and his. Her, she have to be there too. Equal rights for woman, equal rights for woman and man. If you're talking about God, you have to talk about God in a woman and man way. It's both it's both male and female. Right around the trees that bear female more than even male. So we have to refer to God
Talking
as
a little bit about
woman and man.
Yes.
Say that.
Can you hear me?
Say that again.
Okay. I wanted to say, ladies and gentlemen, this was supposed to be a spiritual show about how to make priestly men and godly men. And I think what we're doing here today is ironing out what is a godly man. We want to talk about how do you make priestly men? How do they come into their own? There's those churches out there that are beckoning black men to come in to become like priestly. There's all that are calling black men to be a part of this thing called priestly and godly men. Once these men become priestly, it will turn around and prevent them from back these institutions. We just keep setting up a vicious circle where they go right back into prison and they become institutionalized, and they can't stop it because they've been safer on the inside where things were given to them and provided for them because they can't find employment. Now, I am moaning for our black men. I would say that if we did nothing during Black History Month, we moan of those who are incarcerated. Mourn for them and also pray that God will find a way of escape for those godly men who are placed in prison through no means of their own, through falsely. Because a lot of men have been executed who were innocent. And a lot of people are in prison because of no means of their own through selling drugs and no heinous crimes. So now you got people saying, hey, I'm not going to for any marijuana charges. They should have never been prosecuted for marijuana charges. They're locking up innocent people who are trying to make a nickel and dime off of some sedative that will put them to sleep. Now, if they went ahead and legalized it, and for those people who need it mentally, morally, let them use it if it has no side effect, but give them the legal right to go ahead. Don't lock people up indefinitely for those kind of crimes. And the people that are pushing powdered dope and cocaine, they're getting off free. And we got a situation where this country feeds off of crime. And this is putting men who can press license plates in prison and getting. It's not right. It's still perpetuating slavery. And a lot of black men are going to rise up. I hope this is the year that they were going to go to the courts and rise up about the judicial system, about the police system. All of this system needs to be revisited. Wouldn't you think so?
Well, yes, I think so. But right now, if we worry about that, we die and gone, and black people will still in slavery. Black people will still in slavery because black people they always destroy their leader and put back themselves in slavery. It's like some people like slavery. No, if you try to take them out of it, they will kill you and put back themselves in slavery. They like people to hand out things to them, boss them around, treat them like they are animals. We need people who have ambition, who can show up themselves and help themselves and help each other instead of to cry to the next person to aid them from poverty and these things. They keep themselves in poverty just to the other person. And if the other person is helping you out, he's gonna treat you like a slave.
Hold tight. We're gonna go to commercial. Hold tight. Hold tight. Ladies and gentlemen, you can still call in at 516-453-9208 if you'd like to get in on this discussion. If you have something to contribute, I do encourage you to do so. This is our final Black History Month day, and we're talking about little-known topics that most people don't care to talk about. They're controversial over religion. Should you choose religion? Should you not? Are you the living episcopal? Are you the temple? Who is God? Is God a ratified energy? How do we worship God in spirit and truth? And do we become God by allowing God to place his spirit within us? And how come we're not rising up and waking up out of a nest? Why are we so sound asleep? Even though God has told us he put his essence in each and every one of us, he gave all of us a measure of faith. What happened? Have they been up front? And do we need leaders? And should each of us participate in discovering what our judicial system should be, what our men in blue should be? All of this should be revisited. It's not working. And we know it's not working. But we keep saying, let's patch it up, we'll do better. No, you're not. Because you created the prison system, you created the black codes, and you created the judicial system for white men in power and who own slaves. You created that to protect his allotment, not to protect any other non-minority. So we've got a system that needs to be torn down that was created by our and they made the laws for themselves. Now, I'm not complaining that the white man is doing it and we are letting him do it. No, I'm saying it's his time now. He has been commissioned to rule over this earth only for a little. Now get ready, black man, or get ready, indigenous person. You are going to have to be in rulership again. Will you be? Will you take on the same or will you change? And will you be a better man or a better woman, a more priestly man or woman? And that's what we're talking about. How do we become more priestly like? Do we read the Bible till we're black and blue in the face? Do we touch upon the King James Version? Do we go out here and read the Torah? How do we become better men and women? Well, if you don't have any guidelines for your household and how you're going to live, you need a way of life. You can step right in to Oracle Divination Network. We have a way of life. We're not teaching religion. We're not preaching about how to become a deacon or to become a songstress in the choir. We're talking about becoming godly men and women, not straying from your tradition of your father and understanding that they live by these traditions and they die by these traditions. What has happened to us? The people have lost their way because there is no vision for tomorrow. We need a vision for tomorrow, one that is wholesome and steadfast. And I'm going to go to the audience to see if there's anyone out there that has a vision for the future to make us more priestly and godly men. What would you say out there, Mr. Winston?
Well, the people need to bury the Bible and bury all religion and start to live in reality. The people want to deal with reality and not these stories. Too much stories and turn their backs on reality. And reality is prophecy that is going to catch up on them. So all these stories that people are reading about, stories, Jesus stories, Muhammad stories, all kind of people's stories, people reading about, and no one facing reality. The reality is in front of us. Help each other, teach each other, and stop fighting on each other. The black people don't create guns, but they have the most shooting each other and saying it's the white man make them doing it. But it's not the white man make you doing it. It's the thoughts of you inside of your head cause you to do it. So we must stop blaming people for our downfall and start to rise and help each other to rise up and empower each other and take our eyes off the next people, other people. Because other people they're doing the best for themselves. So we must do the best for ourselves now.
Yes.
And help who we can help.
Preach the word, Brother Press. You are telling the naked bottom truth. It is so true what you're saying tonight. I certainly appreciate all your words of wisdom. I'd like to thank you for being on the air with us today. The black man's
problem lies within himself. The black people's problem lies within themselves, not in another nation.
Yes, we are looking at fighting the flesh, and the spirit has enmity with the flesh. So we have to clean ourselves up, and let's shut the door when we go in to clean ourselves up. And let's make sure that no one comes in while we're conditioning ourselves and bettering ourselves. We have a lot to do to make changes in ourselves. We're looking for godly men and priestly men. How do we make a godly man? How do we make a priestly man? He must understand that there is something that he's been called to do. we took on a contract. When we came to this earth, we asked to come here, and we're under contract, and we owe debt to society because that's when we have a certain problem. And most of us are behind in what we're supposed to be doing. And we have not we have not commissioned ourselves to say, hey, I missed the mark. I got to go back and figure out what I promised that I would do when I come here. Because all the people that are in prison, they're off the mark, and they cannot complete their task. They are stagnant. And right now, they're institutionalized. And we got to pray. We got to pray in our spirit that one day that God will bring a judicial system that is righteous, that will judge these people, let them go, and let them be judged by their own but we know that that is for another time and place. And this time was set aside for Black History Month for us to regurgitate what we need to do to be better men and women, what we need to do to be wholesome, priestly men and women. Well, this platform, it educates men and women about becoming priests and priestesses. We help you to get on a path for getting with the Bible law that you can sit at his feet and be trained to learn how to live a priestly life, to learn how that obligation that you promised to fulfill when you came here, to learn a little bit about you can have a church within your home, you can pour libations, you can have rituals, and you can perpetuate these things and feel fulfilled in your culture. It's very wise that we look at the four cardinal directions. And east, north, south, west, and south down. We pour our libations in those directions. We acknowledge all of our ancestors. Of course, say our mothers and fathers and our relatives' names first. We acknowledge them and we pay homage to them. Tonight, I want you to set your altar up. Put 7 glasses of water up on your table. The names of all your deceased loved ones who have perished. Call each and every one of their names. Make sure you recite their names periodically. Put flowers on the table. Put some fermented cigars on the table. And also put some fermented drinks on the table, whether it be vodka, whether it be any alcohol that's fermented, because your ancestors need these things. Place them on the table, along with the table setting of food, some of their special foods that they like, potatoes, hog maws, greens and grits and gravy, whatever they like. Place it on the table and serve them. They are nothing but energy, and they get depleted too. In order for them to do work for you, you must feed them. Your ancestors must be fed. Feed them on a daily basis by whatever you cook. Give them a plate of it, and be that they don't like to be disturbed. So put them in a low area somewhere on the floor in the corner and maybe cover it up with a white sheet or something. But do pull it out from time to time so you can fall on your face and call out your ancestors' name and go to church. This is church for you people. And I'm giving you something that can substitute don't feel bad anymore because you're not a member. And don't feel bad because you're not getting your 2% time. None of that was ordained for us. That's man-made stuff. And today we're trying to set the record straight. How do you make women? And that you're willing to fall on your face and confess your sin, and he will be righteous to cleanse you of all your unrighteousness. Who are you talking to? You're talking to yourself. You're penetrating yourself by saying, I'm sorry, I did my sin, so that I can be in right standing with God. But we have to understand, we can get in right standing today. The doors of the church are open for anyone that's looking for a way of life. This is a way of life. I'm not saying to join a membership. I'm not saying to become a deacon. I'm not saying to become a solo artist in the church. But I'm saying this is the day to get free. so that you can set up your own temple, and God will find that your temple is swept and clean, because now you know you live in Episcopal. You're the temple. You don't have to result in a brick and mortar building. And we want to today bring a good and another song before we leave this place, as we come together and touch and agree that we're going to be better men, better women, and we're going to do the work that we were called here to do. Can I get another song from you, Brother Prince?
You want another song from me?
Yes.
Heli Kusinga Man.
Brother Prince, tell us where we can find your music online and how they can order your music.
My song is only on Facebook. I only have one song on YouTube, but most of my songs is on Facebook. Just the video, the live videos.
Okay.
I
so
don't
let's
start.
go out
I don't start
and his brother and purchase his music and help him to get on the platform that is known for the best, and that is here at Oracle Divination Network. He's on the platform, ladies and gentlemen. You can come back and download this clip and hear this brother as he does our final song for us.
Ready for it?
Yeah.
Heli Kusinga Man. Sing them your song, like a singer man. Sing them your song. I started out singing from my firstborn day, and I never stopped singing, all with me whole and great. I never stop singing until my dying day. And always me pass on gone, see I'll be singing same way. Helico sing a man, sing them your song, Helico sing a man. He sing them your song. 'Cause from the day I know myself, I have been a singer. Oh yes, oh yes, I have been a singer. Say from the day I know myself, I have been a singer. Oh yes. Oh yes, oh yes. And until now my life hasn't changed. As from the first day of birth here, first day of birth here. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Come in no crazy for material kingdom. Yes, all I man need is wisdom, so vision and inspiration, that I can sing another hit song, that I can sing another hit song. Elico sing a man. Yes, sir.
Okay. I like that song. I like that. Live here on Oracle Divination Network. I'd like to say for the record, ladies and gentlemen, I would like for you to go out and sign up, become a follower, each and every one of you here on Facebook, as well as those that are listening to my voice here in the audience. This was a special night we set aside for Black History for the Stars. And Winston, you are truly one of the stars here tonight. We wish that Mr. Dickerson could have been here, and LaFrance, the gentleman who I initially invited. And we will redo a show for them in the event that they were not able to hear. And Dickerson, to hear this. Now, Mr. Prince, you can download this clip and put it on your Facebook and people can hear the show. So make sure you go and become a follower. And everyone remember that your membership in Oracle Divination Network is free of charge. We have plenty of materials that we would make available to you to download. So once you become a member, you become a member of the Way of Life. And it is a spiritual group where we deal with paranormal things, dealing with people with special gifts who come here to talk to us about their ability to be clairvoyant, their ability to be clairaudio, and who are healers. So we do invite you to be a part of our group. Give us 2 thumbs up and follow the leader with you. And we are going to leave out here the black out. Come on, folks. Let's work it out. Thumbs up and become a follower. Come back and join us again, brothers and friends. And don't forget to download Facebook. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, that is our theme song. I'll work it out. If you would have last and final word, we would like to give you that. So please give us your last and final words.
Well, I would like to give you an environmental song.
Go ahead.
For my last.
Go ahead.
Okay, sure. They said I only have 1 minute leave on this call. So bless you up and bless up all your listeners and bless up everyone for listening to your show. They said me only have 1 minute. The operator said I only have 1 minute.
Give us your final word then.
Yeah, I just want to bless up everyone who listen to your program and bless up all my people, bless up my family, and bless you up, Cheryl. Bless up the radio station and give thanks.
Thank you so much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, please do pray for each and every one of brothers and sisters and pray their strength and that we come into our own, especially our own consciousness and become awakened and come out of this anesthesis and realize that it is our time now. It is our time. Thank you so much, and everyone be blessed. And don't forget that the doors of the church are open. You're always welcome here to A Way of Life. Come in and become a member and follow us. Follow the leader because we're taking you someplace. Thank you so much. You've been a blast. Thank you so much, Mr. Prince. Be blessed. And we're out of here, Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to go and give us those 2 thumbs up and become a follower. We'd like to see you back here again. We'll be back here again on Saturday. We're doing something special on Saturday. So please do join us around 7 o'clock or possibly earlier.